Hey now, what is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and yeah, I did it to myself. I went and saw the Child's Play remake. It's a 2019 film, and I say I did this to myself because let's be honest. Child's Play is a horror film that came out the same year I was born, the original, and I grew up on it. I watched it over and over again. In fact, I can watch it still to this day, and it holds up. It rings true to all the emotions that it tries to get out of you, and it succeeds, in my opinion. So the idea of a remake just bothers me on every level. When I first heard the premise of this new one, when I saw the pictures, when I saw the trailers, I wasn't feeling it. But right beforehand, I said to myself, look, the original will still be there. It will still be on my shelf to watch whenever I want it. So I tried to keep an open mind. I did. I promise you I did. This movie is directed by Lars Klevberg. And that name sounds awfully familiar to me because I just recently reviewed a film that he made like 2 or 3 years ago, but it just now was released straight to DVD. I'm talking about Polaroid. What a piece of shit that was. So my confidence was going lower and lower as I saw his name in the credits. The plot is fairly similar, although some big, huge details are changed about it, as far as this kid Andy being given by his mother for his birthday this doll that's supposed to be his best friend, but ends up being a serial killer. Face value, yes, it's very similar, sure, but there are some changes. Instead of the doll being possessed by a serial killer, which I thought was genius, no, this time it's an AI doll who is created by this company, and the idea is that the doll is supposed to be for every family. It's almost like Alexa that does everything for you, turns on music, turns on the TV, calls you an Uber. It's the weirdest concept that, okay, fine, sure, Alexa is a thing that exists. People use it. Almost everyone I know has something like it. But to have it in the form of a Chucky doll just makes absolutely no sense. And the design of this Chucky doll, I don't want to get too caught up into details like this and sound like I'm being the biggest nitpicker ever. But the design of this doll just looks horrible. It doesn't look like a friendly doll. It doesn't look like a buddy. It doesn't look like something that you would ever want to get your child at all. And also Andy. This Andy is played by Gabriel Bateman. The actor is good enough. He conveys whatever he needs to play the role and do what he does. He was fine. I don't have an issue with him. I just find it weird that they made Andy so much older. In the original, he was like 6, so it was truly terrifying that this young kid was so easily influenced by this doll who was really out to do bad things and frame him for stuff. This kid almost immediately knows that this Chucky is creepy and something's wrong with him. I know what other people are going to say. Hey, it's different. It's made changes. Isn't that what you want? You don't want a shot-for-shot remake. And that's true. That's very true. I don't want a shot-for-shot remake because it wouldn't work. I would constantly compare it. So as this movie stands, honestly, there were moments that I did enjoy. There were some comedic moments because this movie is very jokey. There are a lot of jokes. I don't think all of the jokes worked. Some of the kills were played up for jokes, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Although it did seem like most of the people who died were a-hole people or the creepiest of creepy people, like almost over the top creepy, to where you found yourself almost rooting for Chucky to say, yeah, kill that person, Chucky. Speaking of Chucky, Chucky is voiced by Mark Hamill, so he's not voiced by Brad Dourif, who has voiced the character for, God, what, 7, 8 movies now? No, this time it's Mark Hamill, and the only reason why I'm okay with that, or I'm tolerant of this, is because I love Mark Hamill, obviously Luke Skywalker, but I first knew him as the voice of the Joker. I grew up on this, and there are points where he does sound like the Joker, especially towards the end, when Chucky gets a lot more maniacal and creepier. But for the most part, because Chucky is an AI, because he's a robot, because he doesn't have or supposed to have a personality, he's lacking in that. There are moments where Look, I liked how they played up that Chucky became obsessed with Andy, wanted to be his friend, attacked everyone who treated him like crap. Sure, fine, there was elements there, but I also thought that other elements were lacking. Aubrey Plaza plays his mom, and I like her as an actress, but I didn't buy her as this motherly figure. Yeah, I know she brought her own spin to it. I know she brought her own personality to it. She does still seem so young, and I know they addressed her age in the movie and how she is the mom of Andy, but I still think maybe they should have just played her as the older sister of Andy, and maybe something happened to their parents, and so she just takes care of him. That would make me forgive a lot of how irresponsible she was and how some dumb actions and dumb things that she does do when it comes to her son. Brian Tyree Henry plays a cop who I enjoyed his character. He seemed like a straightforward, genuine guy. He seemed like somebody who wanted to help Andy, and so I liked that. There were some moments where they had some other kids in the film, and I thought they were going to go down a Stranger Things or It vibe, and I got a little nervous about it. But yes, look, this movie has its moments. This movie isn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be a whole lot worse. The fact that I'm trying to give it some credit and say that it's just fine, that it's just okay, it should be a disservice. It should strike points against it because you are comparing it to the original. It is stacked up against a classic. And you need to show me, you need to tell me why, other than money, the most obvious reason, why we're remaking this movie. What take is truly more up to date or truly more different, innovative, or a true reason why this remake exists? And honestly, I did not see that. The ending of this movie, I'm not going to give anything away, spoilers or anything. I'm going to wait to do a separate spoiler review later. But the ending of this movie was such a cluster F and so all over the place and it felt like they didn't know what the hell to do or how to end this movie, that I'm going to say that this is the lowest low of a Netflix and chill.
Oh, yeah.
And I am being so unbiased because there's a big part of me who wants to give it an FU or at least a some old bullshit. But look, this movie could have been a lot worse. It could have been directed a lot worse. It could have been acted a lot worse. It could have been a steaming, stinking pile of crap because I have seen remakes do that. I have seen remakes that were worse. I just still think that this idea, this concept is so genius that I feel like we got a pretty generic version of it this time around. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Child's Play remake? Did you like it? Did you love it? Was I being too harsh on this movie, or do you think I was being too kind? And did you think it absolutely sucked? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.